Alright, what is up YouTube? It's your boy Alan back with another video. Today I'm in the Xinyi district still. I'm really close to Taipei 101 today. And what I really liked about the Xinyi district is it's very developed. And I like developed things. But in today's video, I want to talk about why it feels more comfortable living in Asia versus the US, but also why I do see the next chapter of my life still being in the US for some reason, but we'll get into that. I think number one for me of why I think living in Asia feels more, I don't know what the word is, it just feels like a better quality of life. For me, it's number one is the safety factor of Asia, specifically the countries I've been to. I'm in Taiwan, Thailand, Singapore, Hong Kong. I've heard Vietnam's very safe. But the majority of Asian countries I go to all feel really safe. It's currently 11 p.m. at night, and I'm not constantly looking over my shoulder like I would be in certain cities in the US, like specifically New York, walking at night. I'm looking over my shoulder a lot, being on the subway, kind of eyeing down certain carts of what carts to be in, scanning the people, right? And then also when I'm in Asia, I do this a lot in the US. When I go to like a restaurant or a movie theater, I'm like constantly scanning for exits because of the mass shooting problem we have in the US. So I'm like always on the lookout for some reason, and I think that's kind of something I've gotten used to living with in the US, but here in Asia I can let my guards down a little bit more. And in America, like, I don't get too nervous about walking around late at night, but I obviously still have my head on a swivel. But in Asia, I'm a liability. I'm just like looking at my phone and frankly not being super self-aware. And I don't think I really do that in the US just because I'm more aware of the dangers. But in general, I think the US is a lot more dangerous than Asia. Maybe it's because, crime isn't prosecuted as much. I don't know what it is, but there's like a cultural thing to it. And then I think number two, why I think I like being in Asia a lot is the quality of food. I think the number one example here is just being in Japan and tasting the 7-Eleven food. You can eat that all day. It's pretty healthy. It tastes freaking really good. If you want to compare it to a US 7-Eleven, you'll probably just gain like 20 or 30 pounds and you'll probably die of a heart attack. I don't know, but you guys get the point. Like, you go to American 7-Eleven, you got these like hot dogs that have been sitting there for hours on end because nobody's gonna buy it because it's gonna taste like shit. But in 7-Elevens in Japan, obviously Japan's on a different level, but even in Taiwan, the food's really healthy, even at convenience stores. But beyond the convenience stores, right, like the restaurants feels like they use higher quality food. I went to McDonald's yesterday in Taiwan. You could tell the food just tastes more fresh for some reason. I don't know what it is. And when I think about, because I've been on vacation, I've been in Asia, I've been eating a lot. I've been eating pretty good, eating a good amount of food. And if I was eating that same amount of food in the US, I would be significantly more heavy. Like, I look at my body in Asia, obviously I'm eating like ice cream, a lot of bubble tea, a lot of sugary stuff, a lot of salty stuff. And I look at my body, I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. I still got some definition. My face isn't like super bloated, like it would definitely be in America if I was eating the volume of food I've been eating in Asia. This is more, I don't have the scale to prove it. It's just like an eyeball reaction. But you guys can also let me know if you see like my face getting more chunky. Maybe I'm just like, I see myself every day and I can't tell. I gotta get on the scale to actually get an accurate read. But if you guys have been in Asia, maybe you guys can also tell the food quality is different though. I could tell you the taste is way better in Asia though. And maybe I'm being delusional about the weight thing, but I think I'm thinking I might be right. I think I'm right, okay? But beyond like the quality of food, it's also the pricing of the food. Obviously, I'm an American in Asia. The American dollar goes a lot further. But like I just bought boba today for $1.87, same size as the US, and it's probably 75% better in taste. And you know, for all you boba people out there, buying a boba now in the US is like $7 or $8. It's basically you're buying a meal, but it's just a drink, so it's a total rip-off. And the quality of the US boba is definitely not as good, from my experience as a pro boba taster. And then, you know, I can get a pretty nice meal. I bought like beef noodle soup for lunch. It was only $4.97. And if you want to buy lunch in the US, it's usually going to be $15 to $20. If you're lucky, it might be more for a on-par meal. Like I know that beef noodle soup bowl I got in Taiwan that was for like $5 would probably be at least like $15 or $15 to $20 in the US. So it's not only the food quality is higher, it's also the value is way better in Asia. And obviously I'm speaking from an American perspective, but even when I speak to people in Taiwan making Taiwanese dollars, they're still able to live a comfortable lifestyle and save money. So it's affordable for everybody, no matter if you're making US dollars or Taiwanese dollars. You're able to save money, eat good, high quality food. And then to build on the point that obviously as an American, your dollar goes a lot further. And I've been living in a mix of hotels and hostels, but I've been averaging around $60 to $100 a night. On the weekdays, my average cost probably floats around $60 a night at a hostel or hotel. And then on the weekends, it might get up to $100. But that's like a 3-star hotel usually. It's usually a pretty solid hotel. But if you want to stay at a 3-star hotel in the US on average, it's probably going to be around $125 to $178. So that's a lot more money to stay at the equivalent hotels in Asia versus the US. But those are kind of the 3 main reasons why I think living in Asia or being in Asia gives you a higher quality of life from those 3 aspects. And those are pretty important aspects, I'd say, just for somebody's day-to-day life. But like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, but I still do imagine myself being in America. I think it'd be cool to work in Asia maybe for a year or 2, but I still do see myself going back to the US because obviously the US is a capitalistic society. It prioritizes innovation, building wealth. America really focuses on those things, and as somebody that was not born with a silver spoon in his mouth, I do have to go back to work and focus on building financial freedom for myself and my family. And America is still the best place in the world to make money because it prioritizes, you know, innovation. It prioritizes risk-taking. It really rewards people, or it's really focused on helping people build wealth, I'd say. The system is just set up for that. The system is really set up for risk-taking, innovation, profits at all costs, and obviously there are big pros and cons to that. But if you are the type of person in a situation where you want to focus on building wealth for yourself, I think those cons outweigh I think those pros of actually having it easier or having the opportunity to build that wealth still makes the US a great place to do that. The US economy is a lot larger, so it's a bigger pie, and the growth rate of the US economy is a lot higher than the other growth rates of other economies. So even if you're an employee, your salary is going to be higher just because, you know, being one of the largest economies in the world, allows employees to have higher salaries. Well, obviously, like cost of living is still higher in the U.S., but it does help a W-2 employee build wealth through a salary. So overall, I think like wealth building is one of the biggest pros of being in the U.S. And I also do think that you have certain freedoms in the U.S. for freedoms to commit crime. I guess there's certain freedoms of thought and speaking and religions and not being like persecuted for your beliefs. It's pretty nice in the US. But personally for me, I think beyond the wealth building aspect of being in the US, I still do enjoy day-to-day life in Asia more because of the reasons I outlined in the beginning of this video. It's good to make your money in the US and then spend it abroad, whether that be in Europe and Asia. I think the quality of life is just higher in general across those countries, but US is still a great place to make money. When I'm older, we'll see. Maybe I could split my time more between the two countries. I think I'm doing that already right now. But thanks for tuning into my stream of thought video. It's just top of mind for me because I'm in Asia. Some things I've noticed over my, I don't know, I've probably been here for like 3 months throughout this year already. And thanks for tuning in. I will see everybody in the next one. Peace.